With only 10 points separating the GTP Championship and an unfamiliar track to end off the season, it's all to play for in the big wing machines. Will Javier Del Olmo be able to hang on for a second GTP Championship? Or will the consistency of Seamus Power allow him to overcome all odds to take home his first GTP crown? We'll find out soon as we get ready to watch the final round of the iRacing IMSA Vintage series, and you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hi, I'm Adam Lindgren, and with me in the booth is Craig King. Our director is the boss man Daniel Costello, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. The last race of the season takes us down to Florida and the Homestead Road Course A. To find out more about the Homestead facility, let's take you down to our GSRC trackside.
Welcome to Homestead Miami Speedway. South of the city of Miami and just east of Homestead, this track is definitely more well known for hosting the season finale of the NASCAR Cup Series for many years. However, sports cars have taken advantage of its infield road course for a few decades as well. Two layouts exist, with the A course running 2.2 miles over 12 turns, and the B course clocking 2.3 miles over 10 turns. It presents some rather interesting challenges. In both cases, the first corner is a sweeping left-hander which dares the brave to enter as quick as they can, while saving the braking for turn 2 until the very last moment. It makes it very easy to go just a bit too wide and clip the grass, sending you spinning. From there, the track tightens up into a pair of slow hairpins. But then the car's horsepower gets unleashed with two long straights leading into more hairpins that offer great passing opportunities. From there, the B course includes a simple flight around the oval turns 3 and 4. But the A course takes you on a frightening ride through a swift set of left-handers. Then the final chicane tests who can get the better exit onto the long blast back into the first corner. It may be less famous than the oval itself, but this road course has hosted IMSA, Grand Am, and the FIA GT Championship in its short history. Since 1995, it's been a playground for South Florida's road racing fans, and thanks to iRacing, many more can enjoy this Roval's challenges.
Well, Craig, it's been a while since we've been to Florida in this series, and now we're here at Homestead checking out this new, well, not new, but the road course here. And what are your thoughts on this race with the IMSA Vintage machines?
Well, Adam, when you think about Rovals in America, Homestead is not one you think about, but it is a hidden gem in terms of the road courses on ovals, mainly due to that first section. In between the four straights are corners providing different skills to each driver and class. So for the GTPs, that first half of the track will suit them well. However, hard braking going into the first three corners will put the brakes and tires under a lot of stress, and carrying too much speed will result in going off at turn 2. Now, the Nissans will also enjoy turn 6 and 7. The corners, they kind of work like a double apex hairpin, which results in a great test of speed on how to get on throttle first. So for the GTOs, as expected, they will hate those opening corners because of the braking required, as well as the moving as you go through turn 1 to set up turn 2. Now, the cars will like 6 and 7. It's the final corners, though, that will show some of the straights in the Audis, as 10 and the chicane at 11 and 12 will cater to that boxy feel the Audi gives, as low speed will be required, something the Audis do well. Multiclass around here can be chaotic, despite the number of straights. The delta is between 8 to 10 seconds depending on the driver, and it's one of the shortest deltas they will see this season. Opening corners cannot be used for late overtakes. That won't stop some of the Nissan drivers, but patience is required as you look to get around before that quick dip at 4 and 5. Chicane is no go for overtaking, but with the speed and braking differences, moves around 9 and 10 before the chicane will look possible. But out of the corners, the Nissans will need to be aware because they may not be the quickest car off to the mark due to those slow speeds. Adam, Homestead used to be the venue of the NASCAR Championship, so it only feels fitting that the GTP Championship comes down to here.
Absolutely, and the GTP Championship is going to be decided today. Javier Del Olmo leads by 10 points over Seamus Power after the drop weeks are factored in. They are 31 points clear of Brendan Lim, so Brendan will not be playing a factor in that lead battle. Heitor Sentes Galindo has dropped down to 4th position and is just 3 points ahead of Robert Nash as they all battle with Brendan Lim for that last spot on the podium. And then we've got Toga Hisada and Alan to his own 41 points back, with Matthew Cockrum and Evan Platten, as well as Dustin Herroder and Aaron Humphrey battling it out for 7th in the GTPs. But what about the GTOs, Craig?
Well, GTO Championship already decided. Arturas Kundalis has it all wrapped up despite losing 30 points from drop weeks. Mickey Friesen's lost 28 points to the drop weeks here, and it's going to be a tight battle between him and Noel Lundberg and Andreas Schuster, with Doug Cloud looking like a dark horse. With a smaller field today, that could be possible. Battles all around, though. Look at that between Roman Bello all the way down to Ian Haycock. The bottom half of the top 10 still to be decided, mainly due to the fact that just how many drivers have stayed consistent this season. The only man not in that top 10 that isn't here today is Johan van Hixie.
Absolutely. Now for our race details, it's the final round of the season. 40 minutes for these drivers with open setups. They can set up the cars however they like or dislike. No spare vehicles for them. A drive-through penalty at 17 incidents and a disqualification at 25. And I expect that we're going to see quite a few incidents out here today, Craig, as we wrap up qualifying.
Yeah, we're going to see a few incidents, just mainly just to the speed some drivers will want to carry. And also, key factor here, the pit lane, you have to take the pit lane entry before the chicane at the end of the track. There are cones that indicate where you go, but you may forget it, and it may cost you a drive-through penalty if you don't do it. Dylan Freckleton, the last GTP around here, because I think we're already sorted out here, Adam. It's such a quick lap.
Absolutely. Javier Del Olmo in 2nd position to Farron Grau right now, provisional pole sitter in the GTP. Dylan Freckleton says his first lap time in 12th position. Joran van Hixie actually leading the GTOs in this race, with Arturas Kundalis only 45 1,000ths off of van Hixie's time. So tight up there for provisional pole position in the GTOs. And Dylan is right now the only driver circulating on track on this second lap for the GTPs.
Yeah, he is the last man out there. We've got one other driver, which is Elvis Newick, who won't have time to step a lap. But here's Dylan Freckleton as he comes down into turn 8 here. It's a tight blind hairpin, and again, you want to get on the throttle far and early. Use that bit of run up. You can go under the apron here just to get a little bit of speed, but now comes the technical section. High speed down into 9, slow it down a bit, and now slow it more. Here's 10, almost similar to the first 2 corners of the track, and then tied in for the chicane. Look how much space you've got. Avoid those tires. That is why I was saying, Adam, it's a no-no for overtaking. Not even a late send is possible there.
43 seconds as he crosses the line. It's going to be a 109.9, so that improves him up to 9th position, and he'll continue on for a little bit of reconnaissance lap. We have Elvis Newick, who's joined us today. Not going to be able to set a qualifying time, I believe, in the GTO. He might be able to. It's going to be... Oh, nope, never mind. So unfortunately for Elvis, a little bit of a too much throttle on the back end of that lap pushes him offline. And so that's going to wrap up our qualifying and put us on to the grid. It's going to be Farron Grau with the pole position and Javier Del Olmo in 2nd spot once we get to the grid. But Craig, it is a tough race out here for these drivers today, and I think that it's going to be a challenge with the way that this track is laid out, but we are going to go to the grid. It's going to be, as we said, Farron Grau on pole position with Javier Del Olmo next to him. Jack Wells tucked in behind Farron, and Yunya Hoinma is going to tuck in behind Javier Del Olmo. Seamus Power is going to line up in 5th position, 4 spots back of Javier, not the place that he wanted to start, with Brendan Lim next to him, another tough competitor. Robert Nash and Tomoya Inatani are going to round out row 4, and there's going to be Dylan Freckleton and Christoph Olenicek in 10th position, rounding out the first page. Ivan Platten's going to line up in 11th position next to Javier Mascara, who joins us once again. Sean Langdon also back in 13th position, with Fabian Jungbluth lining up in 14th, a bad qualifying for him. Ian McD Bradsfield is going to join us in 15th position, with Matthew Cockrum in 16th, Andrew Bailing in 17th spot, and Stefan Leslie down in 18th position. Kevin Parrish and Mateo Johnson round out your top 20 drivers. And then the last driver who did not set a qualifying time, the only GTP, Carlos Fonseca, rounding out your 21 GTPs today.
We'll go into the GTOs, and it's Jan van Hicks in pole position. Very tight between him and Arturas Kundelis today. And there's Andreas Schuster, who will be in third, with Joni Hagner in fourth. Mickey Friesen will be fifth, with Timothy Reed in sixth. And that's Johanny Cameron taking seventh, with Hamilton Barrera Ruiz back again in eighth. Doug Cloud will be ninth, with Roman Bello in 10th to round out the first page. And then 11th, we will have Jamie Hamill-Smith. Michael Haynes will be 12th. Jack David Spickett says he's aiming for a top 15. He starts 13th. He was the last time qualifier because Mika Tupola, who's aiming for the participation trophy, is 14th. And Elvis Newick in 15th for your 15 GTOs today.
It's going to be an intense out there for these drivers. As far as the weather is concerned, it is currently 80 degrees Fahrenheit out there, so fairly cool in the morning for Miami. And then we've got 83 on track for these drivers. That's 27 Celsius in the air, 28 on track. So early morning here at 9:02 a.m. virtual standard time here at Homestead Miami Road Course.
And this is actually going to help them as well, just when it comes to those temps. I was looking at it, I was like, when you see the lights sometimes, you worry because you think, oh no, is that going to be a bit too warm? And then you see, it may get hotter later in the race, but with a 40-minute race, we're not going to see the temperatures going too chaotic. I reckon they may, at worst, get up to 90 Fahrenheit today.
Yeah, but look at that wind, though. 9 miles an hour, variable 7 to 9 miles an hour coming out of the south. So that is something that can affect the drivers, especially with their high downforce setups. But you can see, even on the pace lap, just how quickly these cars go through this section. This is more or less race pace through those S's, Craig.
Yeah, I'm just having a quick look. The pace car here, it's actually faster than the pit speed. It's actually 80 kilometers an hour, which comes to about 50 miles an hour, faster than the pit speed. So it does give you quite an interesting dynamic around here. Because you can see there, they've just gone through that 6 and 7 onto the final infield straight, which I call the third straight because, well, you know, it's almost got 4 parallelograms when it comes to straights. It's going to be crucial to see who gets overtakes here, though, Adam. Because remember I said how it's about getting on the throttle on time out of 6 and 7? If you get on too early, you've got a GTO in front of you, if you're a GTP. You may have to wait to get on throttle, and that could mean a hindrance getting down to turn 8. That could be a danger point in the race.
Absolutely, and these drivers going to have to be paying very close attention to these danger points. One of them being this turn back on to the oval that the GTOs just went through. The GTOs much faster than the GTPs through that section, and then the GTPs will be very much faster as they go through the slight oval portion and then onto this braking zone for the next minor straightaway, and then until they brake until these last couple of corners.
Yeah, we're not using the oval today. We're just using the front and back straight. Wonder if they'll try and go single file here for a bit of gentleman's agreement. They will not. This is going to be very tricky for a start, Adam.
Absolutely, especially for the GTOs who are going to be in the middle of that section. But as they get back up on to the banking, the pace car has pulled off and is up to Farron Grau. Farron launches quickly. Javier Del Olmo, not a good start for him, and he's now in the clutches of Jack Wells. Umuhema around the outside is going to try and make the pass on Jack Wells and is going to be able to get that done. Look at this as they go streaking into the hard braking zones and then into these first chicanes. Such a tight portion, especially when the tires are as cold as they are.
Into the GTO. They've had a little bit of warm-up there, but they've managed to keep it a little bit single file. Jack Davis Pickett in the backfield getting 2 places, but everyone just feeding themselves down at the moment, just wondering where they have to go. A small move here by the 23. We can report Javier Mosquera has towed the car after an incident, and that's going to happen there in the GTP, but the GTO, you're riding right now, looking at Doug Cloud as he looks to make up a few places.
Already down to 35 drivers right now as we get Jack David Spickett coming out of the front corner. Look at this, side by side for Sean Langdon and Dylan Freckleton as they come back onto the back stretch of the oval. And it's not very long before you take the left-hand cut down into the braking zone for the final couple of turns.
Yeah, you've got to be very careful, though, when you come to these moves, and Dylan will realize that he just has to play it out here. Another thing you've got to do when it comes to these first couple laps with these sort of corners at 9 and 10 and 1 and 2 is you've got to be a little bit careful, because that can happen either in plateau and going around, but you've got to make sure you're not braking later than the other car in front of you, or because something like this can happen where you just get a little bit of a rear end tap.
Yeah, and that was actually the transition back onto the oval. It is a pretty significant bump to get back onto the oval from the infield, and that is why we saw Ivan Platten hit that so hard. Johan Van Hixie right now still leading the race over Arturas Kundelis, and they're very bunched up together, and I expect to see this for most of the day until those GTPs come through. And quite frankly, the GTPs don't lap that much faster than the GTOs around here.
No, like we said, 8 to 10 seconds, which is a very quick delta compared to what it usually is on some tracks. Usually 15. A spinner there just getting a little bit too hot on the brakes. It looked like that was Ian Bradfield. I think he was just trying to outbrake to try and go side by side. Did not work for him there. Again, another challenge. And now look at the speeds they're carrying as they hit 9 and 10 though, Adam. On board with Robert Nash, that's a completely slow it down. It is so hard, that transition, and then make sure you get that right on the little bump. That can be costly.
Sean Langdon around in the background as we ride on board with Robert Nash. Javier Dolomo saying the fastest lap. That's a good sign for him and his championship aspirations. All of these GTPs running a high downforce setup as there's so many twisty turns here. You have to make sure that it's not, that you also have the rear end set correctly so you can rotate through the corner, because with that much downforce, you have a tendency to push the front of the car. Robert Nash looking very strong right now on the back of Brendan Lynn.
Yep, and you talk about that load, that high downforce. If we were using the alternate layout without the chicane on the back stretch and using the whole back part of the NASCAR oval, there would be the debate for these GTP drivers, low downforce, high downforce. It's a great battle when that happens. However, this is where the skill comes in, is knowing, can you make moves here? And it'd be interesting to see, can Nash just get a good launch here? He has. Now, I wonder if he can make some sort of a late move here down into 9. You can see Lynch trying to cover it. He can't. There's a small overlap, but it's just so tough to make that move, and he has actually pulled it off. Can he slow it down in time? That is good work from Nash and a good heads up from Lim not to try and fight that too hard.
Yeah, usually on high downforce sections, it is the driver, and it looks like Andrew Bailing has gone around as well, but it's the driver on the outside who has the advantage, but because of the almost 45-degree angle, more than actually, of that turn on the backstretch, as we're going to see here as Arturas Kundelis goes through there, heavily putting some heavy pressure on Johan Van Hixie. That's a little bit more than 45 degrees with a little bit of a banking change, so it actually benefits the driver on the inside, and that's why we saw Nash pull ahead. Update on the championship, though, for the GTPs. Seamus Power is in 5th position with Javier Del Olmo in 2nd. Javier needs to finish 5th or higher in this race in order to win the championship. If he finishes 6th and then Seamus Power wins, Seamus would win on countback because he has a win this season and Javier does not.
Absolutely bizarre when you think about it in the season. Javier Del Olmo leading the championship, trying to win back the title he won a couple seasons ago without a single win this season.
But he did that season too. It's the same story repeated. Javier's consistency is why he wins championships, and that's how he did it in the GTOs as well. He didn't get a win there either.
But he got a win in the GTPs last time by when he won the championship. We're on board with him right now, trying to get hold of Farron Grau, but he doesn't need to do much in Atani. Getting past Hommer, and Hommer, I think, may have had a small moment because he's even lost more positions there. Would not be surprised if he had to serve a slowdown. That is something we've not talked about today, Adam. The slowdown through the chicane can catch you. And if this was a NASCAR-sanctioned NASCAR Cup race, you'd be forced to stop on a dime. On iRacing, you've got to slow down to serve that slowdown.
Absolutely, and it's debatable which is worse to deal with, to be honest with you. But Javier Del Olmo putting some heavy pressure right now onto Farron Grau in the lead of this race. And look at that, Robert Nash having a little bit of a moment. He's falling back behind Honma again. Seamus Power's up to 4th because of Yunya Honma's problems on the front stretch. But heavy pressure right now with Robert Nash now tucked into that battle for the 6th position.
What a save, though, from Robert Nash. He was going side by side with Inatani. He tried to keep that battle going, and he just ran out of room because he could not get on full throttle out of 7. He had to just lift off. The car got a little bit uncaught there. He went sideways for a moment. He went almost 45 degrees pointing the wrong way, got that car saved, and he did lose a position or 2 there as he was battling Inatani, but he lives to fight another day, and that is probably one of the saves that you will not want to see a driver make, but happy to see a driver make.
Looks like Carlos Fonseca's had an issue as he's slow on the backstretch. This final turn onto the backstretch causing so many problems for our GTPs, and it's no surprise, to be honest with you, Craig. Look at this, even Platten putting some pressure on Sean Langdon as he's trying to stay ahead of Ian Brassfield.
Yeah, it looked like Fonseca tried to go side by side with a lap GTO. Did not work. He was side by side in the chicane, hit the tire barrier. That caused him damage, but Platon trying to fight on. He's got Ian Brassfield behind him as well, who's also had a moment. These are the drivers now that they are battling with those moments earlier on, and Platon going a bit too hard into 6, comes out of 7, just losing a bit of time. Got to keep it calm, but I am looking at the map, and I think this time by, we're going to see the lead GTPs hit the back of that 15-car train of the GTOs.
Absolutely. So that's going to start happening as Farron Crown and Javier Del Olmo are going to start catching the back there. We see them go by the 14th place driver of Michael Haynes. Michael Haynes has not been as consistent visiting us this season, but is here for this race as well, driving in the number 36 machine. And now they're tucked in behind Hamilton Barrera Ruiz, who's going to drive his own line, but that line is exactly where the GTPs want to be.
It's the only line they can do, and I wonder if Javier's going to have a chance here. Don't think it's going to be possible with the way 6 is. He's going to point his nose just to see what Farron does as a reaction. Can't do it. Turn 4 and turn 5 there, which is where they got caught up with the GTO. That is probably one of the only Rovals, excluding New Hampshire, that has some sort of elevation change, and you can just see what it does to the cars, because it does mean you're kind of stuck to one line with the way the course cambers out, and a mistake there, it feels, from Del Olmo, just sliding a little bit. Track now up to 86, Adam. I think I might be right with those numbers.
And here comes, actually, Robert Nash made the pass on Yuno Hoima into the braking for that hairpin back onto the backstretch as they sneak by Mika Tupola. Look at the tightness up ahead for Robert Nash. He doesn't know where to go right now, and that's completely understandable. These S-turns causing such chaos for the multiclass right now.
Yep, causing the chaos, and now he's going to get on through. And he's just going to have to now just calm it down, because you can see the speed difference coming on down. And can he do anything? He can hold on, but he's looking for a break. He's looking for more GTOs to try and use as a little bit of a buffer. It's not working for him behind the Brendan Lim. He really wants to get past Lesniak, who has made up 2 places on the day. One of the best gainers so far early in the race is Lesniak. And
our GTP leaders are about to be in the very thick of the GTO traffic. I think they're going to catch it at the right time, if there is a right time on this Roval. As you can see, Farron Crow and Javier Del Olmo sneaking by the battling Jack David Spickett and Doug Cloud. A little bit of contact between the 2 of them. That's going to hold up Jack Wells a little bit, but he's got the whole apron to play with. There's no penalties for going anywhere down this paved section on the backstretch, so he can go as far down as he needs to. So Jack Wells able to sneak by. Take a look at this Doug Cloud in that battle with Jack David Spickett, and he let Spickett sneak by unexpectedly. I think Doug just didn't expect the attack.
Didn't expect the attack, and it was a great move from Jack David Spickett, using the multi-class to his advantage just to make that move. But you can see Doug, he got a really good over-under there into the chicane. He's going to try this. He's got the overlap. This is a very tough move for a GTO to make down into 1, into 2, and there he goes. He had made it, and Inatani comes through saying, I just want to get by, and a little bit of contact, and Cloud goes around.
Cloud goes around, and a little bit of contact of the inside tire barrier. That is going to be heartbreak. Heartbreak for Doug Cloud. He's able to keep going, but my goodness, that was chaos.
That was chaos, and I've got to say, Robert put his car there. I'm not going to point fingers there, but there was a gap that was never there. Unfortunately, that's where Nash went, and that was the reason Doug got tipped around there. Yes, he could not get back to his normal line because of what happened with Inatani, but Nash, I think, just a little bit too optimistic there. Caused that spin for Doug, and unfortunately Doug goes all the way down to 12 keep watching the leaders. This is the first time by through the traffic, and they're with the leaders, well, both sets of leaders.
Absolutely, and it's very tight as they exit the corners. Farron Grau was able to sneak up ahead of Javier Del Olmo. Look at how rough it is to get back onto the oval there. I almost would stay on the apron, to be honest with you, if I was a GTP driver, just because of how rough it's going to be on the suspension. But Jack Wells sneaking inside of Jorvin Hicks. You can see him clip the inside curbing there and get all upset. But Javier Del Olmo, Farron Grau, Jack Wells, they're all three battling it out for the lead of the race. Let's take a look and see what happened once again with Doug Cloud.
Yeah, let's just watch this again. As you see, Doug's made the move, and Inatani's going to go for this move into turn 3. This is a normal move. He's just not able to get it done in time. Doug turns in where he would want to turn in, and he's got every right to turn in there. And unfortunately, Robert Nash sees the gap and thinks, I can make it. And it's one of those moments, we've all done it. It's the prototype mentality. There's a gap there. I'm pretty sure I can squeeze in. No, you can't. I'm guilty of it myself, so I'm not going to blame him. We've all done it before.
Absolutely. It's so easy to do when you're the faster class to think, oh, I can sneak through there, and then the driver turns in. But Stefan Leslie and Matthew Parrish are putting some pressure on Kevin Cochran right now as they come around the corner, the hairpin onto that back straightaway, catching up to the now lone Jack David Spickett, who's battling with Doug Cloud. Doug Cloud having dropped all the way back to 12th position now. Well out of the fight. Look at this. Kevin Parrish up the inside using Jack David Spickett as a pick, and he's able to get that done. He's going to sneak to the inside of JDS and cut him off from the hairpin and get himself some clear air.
Well, Kevin, I didn't think it was possible to make a move on the chicane. You've just proved me wrong. Very aggressive move there from Kevin Parrish. Makes it stick, and now Sean is trying to catch up to Matthew Cockerham. Cannot do it. Meanwhile, ahead of them, Friesen and Cameron have been side by side. They're still side by side. They're going to take this more side by side. Out of 5, they come side by side. There's still a bit of an overlap. Timothy Reed's behind. They don't have to worry too much. There's Mickey Friesen. He's waiting. He's looking. He wants to take this dive. He locks up. A light tap from both drivers. And Adam is still side by side.
Absolutely tough racing between the two of them, still side by side. We've seen this many years in many races, a little bit more contact between the two of them. Ioanni saying, please give me some room, and Mickey saying, absolutely not, but Mickey locks up the front right, the front left going into the corner, and now he has to open up the corner just a little bit to let Camden get through, and here comes Timothy Reed. It's now a 3-car battle.
Yeah, it's a 3-car battle because they're fighting. Now, is Mickey Friesen going to take a bit more speed? No, I think he realized his over-braking or late braking there may have just cost him. He knows it himself. We've got a crash in the background, and that looked like it was Cockerham coming together with another driver. I did not see what it was.
Kevin Parrish.
They got held up. I think it was a miscommunication of I'm waiting for the traffic.
Absolutely it was. Matthew Cockerham came in with a full head of steam, and Kevin Parrish just got himself a little bit upset coming off of the banking, and he now makes contact with Cockerham, takes off Cockerham's front nose, and that's the end of both of their races.
That's such a shame that Cockerham is now for a tow. Ivan Plankton has just gone around as well. You just see him in the background there. Just made a mistake there under braking. Had to get on the brakes a bit too hard. He almost went into the back of Timothy Reed. Let's look at the GSRC replay. This is Kevin Parrish. Yeah, he cannot make that move. He slows down so much. He almost gets into the back of Timothy Reed. Brilliant, but he cannot save that, Adam. He cannot save that. And there's nowhere to go for Matthew Cockerham.
Yeah, and there goes the front end just falling off of that car. So unfortunately for them, both of them out of this race. I'm looking at the race lead of the GTPs, and we got Farron Grau over Javier Del Olmo by 0.6, and Seamus Power, unfortunately, 7 seconds behind. Now, granted, this was the first time through the GTO traffic, but it's not looking good for Seamus Power's chances at a championship unless Javier Del Olmo makes a mistake.
Yeah, I'm not going to will. We don't want to see any driver have a crash, but we just never know what's going to happen. And Javier, he will want to race to win. Of course he will. That's their mantra. You race to win. You do it on the race. You do it fair. He could win a championship with a P2. He just wants to win races and race hard. If he's there, he will keep doing it. And this isn't his best shot, because even though he just gained half a second last lap, there's no point on a track that you've got so much slipstreaming ability to make so many early moves. As you see here, you see Hamilton Barrera Ruiz. He just wants to just hold on to the back
Ooh,
of the
mischief.
cloud until there's a moment, but the mischief there almost causes more damage.
Yeah, major damage for the front end, a little bit of Ruiz, so I'm going to say major, but it looks like he came out of that fairly scot-free, which is a miracle. Doug Cloud misshifting through one, unfortunately just couldn't grab a gear. Fortunately for Ruiz and for Doug Cloud, not a lot of damage done, but yeah, as you were saying about the GTPs, it's so challenging for these GTPs to get through this track without causing a lot of issues. There you see Javier Del Olmo looking for some moves here on fair and ground. That aggressiveness, honestly, Craig, if you're looking for the conservative season-long big picture driving style that you get in series like Formula One or IndyCar, you're not going to see it here at the Camel at the IMSA Vintage series.
No, it is what they usually say. The cars may not be real, the racing is, and the racing is hard. And in IMSA Vintage, it is hard, fair, and respectful. And you can just see that, yes, Javier wants to make these moves, but he's not going to go and dive bomb in any of the corner. Look how sharply he comes down, though, and the speed he carries because of that. But then he slows down. He's got to slow down. He cut it too much there, and he's gone down into third position. Now he's battling Jack Wells at a moment coming back onto the banking.
And guess who's right behind him? 4 seconds back, it's Seamus Power. Those are some of the mistakes that Seamus is hoping for. He's got company, though, from Tomoya Inatani, who has regained the time that he lost to Seamus Power over the course of the beginning of this race. And look at the side-by-side between Dylan Freckleton and Christoph Olenek.
Yep, side by side they go. This is going to be tough. This is going to be tough. And has he managed to hold that move around the outside? You know he has. That's a fantastic. Three wide, and still around the outside goes Dylan Freckleton. Outside becomes in, sets it up. A little bit of a slide from Lesniak there. Cannot make it, but two defensive around the outside. Technically one in the middle. Fantastic. Lesniak loves to go late. He knows driver for GT2. GTPs are different things, I'm afraid, Christoph.
Absolutely, and unfortunately, just taking it too deep into the corner, getting the rears to lock up just a smidge. He was able to save it, but my goodness, what chaos was that coming through there? What a move from Freckleton, and what defense from Olenek.
Side by side, you just never see a lot of, and you see it here. And because there is such a wide track there, you're going to see those side by sides just elongate. We've seen it twice now. Is that a hit?
He was out of contact with the inside tire barrier.
That's got to be damaged. That has to be damaged. We'll keep an eye to see if the marshals wave a flag. I don't think he's going to. Now, if he's got some aero damage, it's not the end of the world here, Adam, because they're not using the NASCAR banking. You don't rely on that top speed as so much. But what has that done to the tracking of the car? What has that done to the steering?
Yeah, that was a decent hit to those inside tires. All right on the left front. So it's going to be interesting to see how he manages to race. I'm taking a look at inside the car to see if he had any sort of damage as we see him side by side with Robert Nash. He does. Steering is bent on that machine for Seamus Power.
Ah, that is so hard. Now, it depends on the angle as well, what's going to happen. But this could be a little bit of a breather. But no, Nash is going to get this round the outside. Seamus does not have the confidence. And you can see, we shouldn't be seeing that left hand a lot on this cockpit camera. And you can see what he has to do. Had to go around the outside of Mika Tubular as well to get down into 9. I don't want to say that's it yet because anything can happen. But what such a rare mistake there from Seamus Power.
Huge props to iRacing with that contact to the left front. That was the angle that would have adjusted the steering rack just like we see it in the car. So great work on the simulation there from iRacing. Jamie Hamill-Smith under heavy pressure right now from Hamilton, Burrow, Ruiz, and Doug Cloud as Giovanni Kamanen has had an issue as well.
Yeah, Cameron's had an issue. Not sure what has happened to him, but he's lost a couple of positions. And now he is on the back of Timothy Reed. This is going to be a late break for Cameron. Can he make this stick? He can. But with the way the track opens up, is that going to be a run for Reed? No, because Cameron just tracks out a little bit. But there's still going to be a little bit of an overlap. And look at the way that Cameron is defending this. This would be an all-time move if Timothy Reed makes this around the outside. And I would not be surprised if he tries it, Adam. He's going to try this as much as he can. Not going to hold it. I'll eat my hat, though. He still holds it. They're still side by side. They're not going to go side by side. Chicane, no, they will not. Cameron holds on, but that just shows the speed that Reed's got.
Over-under attempt from Timothy Reed, but he has to fall behind Cameron to get the draft, and the lead has changed. The lead has changed. Farron Grouse lost the lead to Jack Wells.
He's lost the lead. He's had a slowdown. No, he went for a late overtake. A late overtake onto a car. It was Elvin Newick, and I'm not sure what happened there, but that looks so weird. We'll have to look at that on the replay later on, but Cameron is still fighting this battle.
Unbelievably, Farron Grau. That was such a late move. I'm surprised that he made that move, but Jack Wells now in the lead. Javier Del Olmo tucked in behind. Jack Wells has a really good opportunity for a win here if Javier Del Olmo can't pick up the car a little bit. Yanni Kamenin going past the damaged GTP there of Kevin Parrish. You can see the rear wing damage on that machine, and Farron Grau's lost the position to Del Olmo now.
You gotta wonder, does he have any damage? This could be interesting. I'm having a look. The car looks clean. The car looks absolutely spotless, so it could be just a momentum thing. We saw it with Sheamus. Because of that moment he had, and here's that replay, just look at it. That's a very late move. But with the merging there, I don't want to say it's a network issue, but it does also pin. There could have been a network issue there for one of those drivers, because usually if you've got a car half into another car, that suggests one of them did have a network drop of 1 second.
Absolutely, and also Elvis Newick has been coordinating his blue flag passes throughout this race, so that could have led to a little bit of confusion, but I don't think there was any confusion in that particular instance. But look at this, Farragut tucked in right behind Del Olmo as they get into the thick of the top 10 in the GTOs again.
In they go again, and you can see that Del Olmo had to try and use the GTOs, a little bit of a bookmark move there, as I like to say. Does not work for him that time. How about this with Cameron? No. Look how aggressive Grau is on the braking. He can do that with the way and the downforce they have in these cars, but it does cost him having to take a different, tighter line. But now Del Olmo's got a GTO in front of Mickey Friesen. Can he get by in time? Just in time. We go to a replay, though. This is Farron Grau losing another position just as he comes through, and again another moment there with the same GTO.
Absolutely, just a little bit of contact with Elvis. I think Elvis is driving on his rearview mirror a little bit too much right now, but Javier Del Olmo and Farron Grau sneaking by Kevin and Parrish, and here is Robert Nash trying to put pressure on Tomoya Inatani.
He is looking to make Inatani. That was a hit. That was a hit. The car went up there a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised there was a slight tap between the two of them, but now Nash gets on the banking and he takes it really well. That is an interesting way to take it, though. He's almost taking it almost perpendicular and just holding on. But look at this now. Inatani held up from Mickey Friesen, gets on through Friesen. That's a little bit of hesitation there from Robert Nash, it feels like, and now this is going to cost him.
Absolutely, and look at this, Robert Nash stuck in behind the GTO, gonna have to wait to go by. Costs him about a second. He'll be able to regain that over time, but Farron Grau right on the back of Javier Del Olmo again. Here it is as they go past Arturas Kundalis.
Yeah, on to again. I think he's looking for a move this time, though. He's going to look for a late break. He's got it too hard. He's got it too hard. He almost took out the race leader in the GTOs there, and that is a moment. He's got the asphalt to work here with the Indy car pit exit, but he has lost 2 seconds as we go on board with Doug Cloud. Doug Cloud, he's not going to need some late braking, but a light tap there does get the move on Jamie Hamill-Smith, though.
You know, we put up a single camera at the Daytona 24-hour and can cover the whole track. And you have the same thing here as we see our cameras switching quickly between the different battles as they go on in the infield. Doug Cloud and Jamie Hamill-Smith nose to tail, but Doug Cloud much better exit off of that corner. And now they're going to have Stefan Leslie and Andrew Bellig to deal with as far as traffic.
Yeah, it's interesting as well. Doug Cloud does have that damage to the wing. We saw it on the camera. His nose looks like Elvis doing his lip movement, and he's still able to keep up. Again, a testament of the fact that they're using the standard road layout here at Homestead, just allowing him just to hold on. But how much longer can he hold on? Because while he doesn't need that top speed, the speed you carry into these corners is vital.
Oh, we just had a wreck. Robert Nash and Tomoya Inatani just had an incident. Tomoya was held up by the damaged Kevin Parrish. They're going on the outside of our GTO leader, Jorn Van Hixie, right now. And Robert Nash got to the back of Tomoya, so that actually punted Tomoya off track. Fortunately, neither driver looks to be carrying very much damage from that. I don't think Tomoya's going to be very happy about the way that pass was done.
No, that is one of those issues I mentioned earlier today. When you come out of 6 and 7, you try to get on the throttle, and Nash did not realize that Inatani was slow for over traffic. You cannot see unless you're right there, and it is a dangerous spot, and that unfortunately is what has happened. And now Inatani, he's got the Black Lightning, the Lightning card there. He needs Lightning to strike for a second time to try and make this move, but will go on board. And this is what I mean, though, when we come to it. He cannot see, Nash, that Inatani has to check up here for the GTP, and he does not know in time, because it also looks like Inatani was lifting instead of braking.
Yeah, he was lifting just to try and carry a little bit more speed through that. I think he expected Kevin Parrish to be going a little bit quicker, but Kevin is down by like 20, 30 miles an hour right now as far as speed is concerned. Here's Javier Del Olmo once again battling for the lead of the race, this time though with Jack Wells.
Yeah, how many more times is he going to have to fight for the lead? But again, it's a different person, different mentality, different driving style. Just has to play it out. And Jack Wells looking for, I believe, another victory. Going to have to keep eyes on that. But this is tough. You might be a driver with the high I rating. You might be a driver with the experience. But just trying to beat a legend and a veteran. I think we can call him a legend now, Adam, after winning a championship in both series. A legend in Javier Del Olmo.
Absolutely a legend, and a driver who no one expected to have that level of success, but won a surprise GTO championship against some of the toughest competition we've ever had in the GTOs, and then turned around in the next season, went and won the GTP championship as well. Stefan Leslie having an issue. Well, that was a close moment from Sean Langdon as he streaked around the outside. A little bit of an unsafe rejoin from Leslie, but fortunately Langdon was able to cover it off.
And I think with the nature of how quick this track is and how quick the lap is, I think there's a little bit of impatience there from some of the drivers today. They really want to get back going as fast as they can because they realize this track is so fast. In fact, I'm looking at a track map right now. The only place where there's clear air is coming down into turn 1 and turn 2. So that just goes to show how open this track is right now. Del Olmo and Jack Wells, they're going to be hitting shortly a lapped GTP. You can see the different ways they take that banking. A great camera shot here on the, almost like a spotter viewpoint here. Just how the cars are just jolting as they re-enter the oval on that part of the track.
Riding on board with Javier Del Olmo as we go into the S's at the beginning of the track. Look at this, looking for an inside move up on the second S. Not sure how that one was going to work as far as the exit was concerned, but Javier Del Olmo showing Jack Wells that he means business.
He does mean business. Not a place I would like to be looking for a move, but is that just something to just put a little bit of question into Jack's mind right now? A lap GTP coming by, it's Carlos Fonseca. He will let them by. And now Del Olmo's going to be thinking about this. He knows the late braking doesn't work, but he also knows that Jack has made a mistake there. And side by side they go. But it feels like Jack's got the run here. I'm not sure if there'll be a move here coming down into turn 9, Adam.
Javier Del Olmo's going to try and make it work, though. There's not much braking into this corner, so he's actually going to back off. And look at this, held up behind Mika Tupola now. And, oh my goodness, Jack Wells trying to figure out where to go, and they're both going to decide to wait until the front straightaway and take the inside line on that apron. Not the fastest way through, but it is going to make sure that they're free and clear and safe to continue racing.
That is, that is so tough. It's one thing to slow down for 1 into 2 and 9 into 10. It's another thing on both of those to slow down even more with this machinery when you've got a GTO there, because there have been a couple instances we've seen with the drivers, they have to brake a little bit harder than they expect and the rear goes, but somehow these cars, these drivers, they've been able to keep that clean today. But it does mean that a chance that Del Olmo had to try and make a move kind of went away there, because you would feel that if there wasn't a GTO there, he probably would have looked to make a move coming out of the chicane.
All right, GTO fans, we hear you and we've seen you as Ian Brassfield has spun out on the front straightaway. He spun out right ahead of our 2 GTO leaders, and yes, we have been looking at the timing tower as well, and they're now within a second. Arturas Kundalis has waited until the last 10 minutes to strike. He saved his tires, he saved his stuff, and now he's going on the attack against Joran Van Hixie.
He has the championship crest on the hood of his car. There it is. It says 2024 Season 3. He wants to finish the season with a bang, and he has played this right with 30 minutes gone. He's kept those tires safe. He's kept them clean. He's used the track temperature to his advantage. It's 89 Fahrenheit now, 32 Celsius. I said we may hit the 90, and now he's got that opportunity. Where does he make it, though? He's still too far away. This is a track with the GTOs. It's too short of a straight for them to punch with that cheese grater to try and make a move.
Absolutely. Javier Del Olmo putting some pressure, and look at this. That is Arturas Kundelis getting absolutely sent out wide by the lapping Andrew Belling. Unfortunately, that's going to lose him some time. Major, it's so aggressive coming onto the banking. I can't believe that this is actually a road course that they do in real life. You'd have spinal damage afterward.
It is, but remember, most of the cars here are probably usually production cars. They're usually touring cars. They're that type of speed as we go into Hamilton Barra Ruiz. So seeing a prototype like this is not something we see a lot, and probably why sometimes with prototypes you see moments where they use the main banking instead. In fact, also, if you've ever done the Kansas Roval, just out of curiosity while I watched this, Adam, you can actually cause floor damage because you've got to do such a sharp climb to get into turn one.
Tomoya Nitani was behind these two drivers and spun out coming onto the front straightaway on that transition onto the banking. It's so unpredictable for these drivers. Even Tomoya got caught out by it.
He got caught out by it, and it was just the pogo effect. And we haven't talked a lot about the pogo effect this season because the curves have been a little bit nicer on the tracks this season. However, that's the one moment that you just get caught out. And in Nitani, we don't see him race a lot on IMSA Vintage. Maybe that's just a little bit of inexperience just showing that.
I mean, the only way you get experience on those sorts of transitions is, oh my goodness, is side by side between Jamie Hamilton-Smith and Hamilton Barrera Ruiz. Side by side they go. We've seen drivers do this for an entire... And these two could do the same, but they're coming up to a hard braking zone and a hard left-hander. And it looks like Hamilton Barrera Ruiz has outbraked Jamie Hamilton-Smith. Can there be an over-under? No. The radius of the turn is just a little bit too tight.
Yeah, it tightens up, but you still can't get on the throttle early enough there to make that type of move. So Hamilton Barrera Ruiz able to drive on. Jamie Hamilton-Smith will keep looking. In fact, no, he won't, because he's just had a moment having to lift for Lim and Youngblood, because while one battle kind of ends, another one still goes because he just gets separated from Lim and Youngblood right ahead of him.
Yeah, and look at this. Look at all these GTPs out there. Yin Mahoima trying to make a move on Seamus Power. We know Seamus is dealing with damage. Seamus was looking so hopeful coming into the day, and Javier Del Olmo, even though he qualified in second position, could have befallen some trouble early on. But Seamus, just that extra little bit of scrubbing that is coming from that left tire being a little bit off kilter is causing him tons of problems out here on the track, and he does not have the speed that he once did. He's lapping in the 12.6s compared to the drivers ahead, lapping in the 11.8s.
Well, Brendan Lim, we've just had a big accident. Doug Cloud's got caught involved. We just had a big one, and it's Brendan Lim. He brakes a bit too hard, and he gets rear-ended from Doug Cloud, and that just set a concertina. Those two went around. More drivers go by. In fact, Hamilton Barrera Ruiz had to slide out there. Now Inatani's gone around with another moment, and just in the space of literally 30 seconds, chaos has ensued.
Yeah, it looks like Brendan Lim did the classic GTP take a place in front of the GTO and then brake hard, and Doug Cloud got a little bit of target fixation. He had a little bit more room on the left, but probably panicked him a little bit to see Brendan Lim coming towards him so quickly, as hard as he was on the brakes, and gets into the back of Brendan Lim and sends him around. Let's see what that looks like.
Here we go. Yeah, with Brendan Lim. Now you can see he goes for the move. Now I wonder if he was braking because he thought he could make that move. It almost looks like as well he's braking a bit harder than Doug's expecting.
The lead of the GTPs is about to change hands. It looks like Javier Del Olmo on the outside of Jack Wells. Can't quite get it wound down, but he's got a good run off of the corner. It's going to be a dead heat as they come in to the next braking zone, and Mickey Friesen has to decide what he's going to do here. Javier's going to take it through. I think he was waiting to see what Mickey Friesen was going to do there before he committed, and I think that was wise as Javier looking up the inside of the final chicane before the straightaway. Jack Wells able to hang on to it, but they got to be careful. Farron Grau's right behind them.
Farron Grau's right behind him. There's only 5 minutes left, and that could be the best shot for Javier Del Olmo, and I think he's now starting to make his moves, but he has to be careful with Farron Grau behind. But Jack now is on real defense, and you start to see it taking different lines. Later Apex into 3 there, later Apex into 4th. He's trying to give some dirty air to Javier there. He's trying to just throw him off, and look, he knows how important this is. He's on the defense. He takes a different line down, almost going to break late though for turn 6.
Absolutely, and here we go once again. Jack Wells with a good run out of the corner, but it's the outside run, and now they've got a GTO who they got to worry about. They're going to go 3 wide to the braking zone. I just know it. And here we go. Javier Del Olmo late braking once again to try and make it around the outside of Jack Wells, trying to squeeze Jack Wells down to that inside line. But Jack, the shorter way around the corner is going to be the fastest. He's going to stay ahead of Javier Del Olmo. You're not missing anything in the GTOs. Kundelis can't close beyond 9/10.
He can't close, and these guys are starting to close. There's going to be more traffic because here comes Kundelis onto Van Hixie. These 3 cars in the lead of the GTPs could affect what happens for the lead of the GTOs. And it is all kicking off with 4 minutes to go now. At a moment, a lap car, that was Ivan Platon there coming around, just surprising everybody. He comes into the pit to lead, but we're not looking at him. Van Hixie's up ahead. Are they going to make the move? They make the move. Baron Grau won't make the move, though.
Grau almost goes into the side of our leader, Jorn Van Hixie. That's going to slow Van Hixie up. That now closes the GTO lead down to 5/10. And my goodness, the 2 leads of this race are tight. 3.5 minutes to go.
Take a breath, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to be seeing a explosive finish to this race in both classes, as you can see. And now Javier does not have that run again. A little twitch on throttle coming out of 6 into 7. And now I wonder if he cannot catch up at the moment. Mahoma as well. We haven't talked about him a lot today. He's got down 2 positions. He's trying to battle the damaged Seamus Power. Remember, he's got minor steering damage for hitting the tire barrier at the exit of the chicane earlier. He's now having to try and defend. I'm not sure what he's got left.
Absolutely, Yoon Mohammed trying to make that move on to Seamus Power. Seamus has been doing a good job to be fairly consistent and do the best that he can today. 5th looks like it's going to be the best. Unless Javier gets a wreck, it's not going to work out for him for the championship. They're going to cross the line. It's going to be close whether they get 2 or 3 more laps for our leaders in the GTPs.
I think they're going to get 2, Adam. I think it's going to be... Actually, no, I think it's going to be 3, sorry. If I knew maths, I would tell you. Muhammad looking to make a move. Nothing yet. But look at that around the outside. Oh, everybody breathe for a moment. That was very... Now into the back. And he could almost cause an issue in the battle for the GTO that he had.
And there he goes around and makes contact with Brendan, I believe that was Brendan Limp that he made contact with as well. So that's going to bring the battle for the GTO lead close again. But Kundelis has just not been able to close that up, Craig. It's been so hard for him to try and make that move. But the lead of the GTP is tight again. Javier Del Olmo once again within a quarter of a second.
And he had a good run out of turn 8, but is not going to transfer into a position right now. Baron Grau didn't have a good run though, but look at the speed he's carrying in. He catches right up to the back. He takes a very smooth line. I just wanted to double check, but a hard entry onto that oval.
2 more laps for these drivers. 1 minute 30 to go as they cross the line. They're doing 1:11s now. The fastest laps of the day for these drivers, aside from the second lap of the race. And they're absolutely putting in the work. Jack Wells, Javier Del Olmo tucked in, and you see in the picture, that's going to be Arturas Kundelis and Jorn Van Hixie. Kundelis can't seem to close the gap. He's gotten down to 4/10 because of traffic, but can't seem to do anything with it after that point.
Jack Wells is flashing the lights. I think he's telling Mika, look, there's 2 of us coming up behind, because Baron Grau, he had to serve a slowdown. He's out of this battle unless anything happen. And Tupola is just going to get out the way. Is that going to affect Javier? I don't think so at the moment, but Jack realizes it.
Too deep!
Late braking!
He almost went too deep into the corner, and he makes Jack Wells go defensive. Jack Wells had thought he was going to be getting out of the way of Javier Del Olmo. Instead, he conceded the lead. Jack's not happy about it, but he gets a little bit too close to the back of Javier Del Olmo. And now Javier Del Olmo leading the race as they come to the white flag.
This is going to be it, though. Can Javier hold on to this as he comes to the white flag? All he had to do is get around 1 more lap. He just had 73 seconds left. before he is a two-time GTP champion in IMSA Vintage.
But here's the thing, he's now in the most dangerous seat in the house. He's got a very aggressive Jack Wells behind him trying to make a move, so he's got to be really careful. He doesn't want to drive too aggressive, but he also doesn't want to get hit by Jack and lose the championship. A slow Andrew Belling is off track, and Jack Wells losing time now to Javier Del Olmo. Javier can breathe a little bit clearer now.
We got a lead change in the battle. Van Hixie's around. Van Hixie is around on the final lap. And the lead had changed in the GTOs. Now, was that due to his own fault? No, he got hit by a car. There was a spinning GTP and Dylan Freckleton in front of him.
Unbelievable. After leading the entire race, Jorn Van Hixie is going to be now in fourth position, unfortunately. But Javier Del Olmo, he's coming through onto the backstretch, and he's got heavy pressure from Jack Wells, and they've got traffic to deal with, major traffic to deal with. Javier's going to get held up. He has to take offensive action. Jack Wells, they're going to split Doug Cloud. Jack Wells looking up the inside. Javier's going to take it too deep into the corner. He manages just to hang on to it. Can he get the speed off the corner with Hamilton Barrera Ruiz there? Yes, he can. Javier Del Olmo is going to win the race, and is going to win the championship here in the IMSA Vintage Series.
Woo! Take a breath, ladies and gentlemen. We're just going to have the formalities. Berend Grau comes back into third position. And here is Arturas Kundelis. It's not the way he would have wanted to win today. He wanted to battle Johan Van Hixie, who's still in a battle himself. Mickey Friesen still battling Joni Hagner for the final place on the podium. But Arturas Kundelis has the championship crest on his roof, and he will end the season with yet another victory for the lime green machine in the GTOs.
What's crazy, Craig, is I think it's been a while since we had the final race finished with both of our championship winners winning the race as well, as we see Joni Hagner finishing in the third position, last step on the podium. Let's take a look and see what happened here to Jorn Van Hixie. There is the spinning Dylan Freckleton, and Van Hixie nowhere to go.
And the worst thing is, I know we say a lot of the time, drivers, hold your brakes. There is nothing Dylan can do there. That car is still in a movement. He cannot hold the brakes and make that car slow down so early. That is such heartbreak there for Van Hixie with just one lap to go. Absolute drama. But we talked about it, Adam. That banking. It's such a steep banking there, and the drivers want to take such a line. That was happening all race.
As it is said, that's auto racing. And for those drivers who finished in the lead of the race, who won this race, honestly, it's just as good. Javier Del Olmo takes the win of the race and the win of the championship over Jack Wells by 0.3 of a second, and he made the move by scaring Jack Wells out of the way in the hairpin onto the backstretch. Berend Grau, unfortunately, losing the lead early, halfway through the race, fell back to 2.5 seconds. Robert Nash is going to finish in fourth position. Seamus Power, a really good finish from him, especially with the damage that he was carrying, but just not enough to overcome winning Javier Del Olmo in the championship. Christoph Olejniczak is going to finish in sixth position, with Junior Hornma in seventh spot. Fabian Jungbluth, what a recovery from him, from 14th up to 8th position, finishes in the top 10. Tomoya Inutani had a little bit of a storied race today, finishes in the 9th position, and Brendan Lim made contact with multiple GTOs and finishes in 10th. Dylan Freckleton, the driver who affected the finish of the win of the GTOs, is going to finish in 11th position, with Sean Langdon behind him in 12th spot. Stefan Leslie, the first driver, one lap down, and those drivers include Ian Brassfield, Andrew Belling, Mateo Johnson, and Carlos Fonseca. Yvonne Platten, the only driver 2 laps down. And then we get to drivers who had trouble. Matthew Cockram down in 19th position, Kevin Parrish, and then Javier Mascara wrecked out on lap 1.
We get to the GTOs, and what's interesting, until that final lap, the top 5 stayed as they started the race, but that mistake from that accident from Van Hixie gives Arturas Kundelis the victory, with Andreas Schuster behind in second. Joni Hagner will get third, and Mickey Friesen, what a comeback there for Mickey Friesen to get fourth. As we just talked about, Van Hixie will be fifth. Johanny Cameron will be sixth, with Timothy Reed seventh. And Chad David Spickett did indeed come home with +5 to finish 8th, with Roman Bello in 9th and Hamilton Barrera Ruiz in 10th. The last driver on the top 10, the last driver on the same lap as the leader. As we get to the second page, it will be Doug Cloud a lap down, with Jamie Hamill-Smith a lap down behind him. Mika Tupler also a lap down, with Michael Haynes a lap down, and Elvis Newick retiring earlier in the race to finish out the 15 GTO field there.
Well, as we try to recover our voices, let's talk to someone who probably has had a little bit of screaming himself. Arturas Kundelis is going to come to us and talk about the championship. Arturas, you won the championship last round, but I bet you weren't expecting to win the race today. Not the way you would have won with Freckleton having that incident that took Joram Van Hixie out of the lead, but I'm sure it was a great battle today regardless.
Yeah, that was very unfortunate for Joram. He definitely deserved to win this race. He managed the traffic throughout the race perfectly in very awkward and complicated circumstances, and he was really fast. And as much as I wanted to win on my championship-winning season at the end, but I really lost hope by the time the white flag came, and then he died. So that's quite amazing and appalling at the same time.
There are only 2 races where you finished outside the top 3, and both of those ended up being drop weeks for you. But how do you build such consistency over the course of the season? What are some things that you've learned over the last couple of seasons that you think have brought you to this position?
Risk management, really. Just a few seasons ago, I kept getting crashed by Nissans by getting involved in other kind of. They were happening rarely, but they were still happening. And at the end of the day, the season standings didn't look good. So this season, I kind of decided to just really look at the bigger picture. Do not take the risks that are not worth taking, and just keep doing those podiums, keep having the wins. And I knew it would be possible because some of the fastest guys in the community were not in the season, and I knew it was now or never. So yeah, I had to take it, and I'm happy it worked out.
Well, 2 questions I feel like I have to ask every single driver who wins a championship here in the IMSA Vintage series. Are you going to be racing next season, and which car are you going to be racing next season?
Yeah, I have no idea. I will be racing, definitely. I would like to do another challenge in the Nissan, but I don't know. The Audi just is so much better. The car, the people who are racing it, the racing itself. It's whenever I tried to go with a Nissan, I kept getting back because I just missed the Audi action. So it will probably stay the same as the season.
I have to agree with you that I prefer the Audi myself, but Arturas Kundelis, congratulations on winning the championship and the race here today. Is there anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, quite a few. Team Slow and Confused, the guys who are watching, and also Andrzej Lumba won the last season in the Audis. This time it's my turn, so Season 2 and Season 3 is ours. And obviously the A-Team. We keep getting on top. Now it's me and Andreas Schuster. Alex Ott is not here with us tonight because he's probably drinking beer as usual. So yeah, big shout out to them. And yeah, to IMSA Vintage and GSRC, you guys make it really cool. Thank you.
Team Slow and Confused, 2 seasons in a row winning the GTO Championship. Congratulations, Arturas, and we look forward to seeing you next season.
Thank you.
That was Arturas Kundelis, our winner in the GTOs and the winner of the championship in the GTOs. Jack Wells is going to join us now in the GTPs, coming up in 2nd position, and he's with Craig.
Yep, I'm with Jack Wells. That, though, Jack, looked like a very fun race with a lot of twists and turns, and I don't think you're expecting what happened there in the penultimate lap.
No. It was a great battle with myself, Baran, and Javi. Well done to Javi on the win and the championship. I wasn't expecting that move. He was better than me on the brakes the whole race. I noticed. I was a bit scared of locking up the rears, so I was braking a little bit early, I think. But it was a really good move.
Yeah, we noticed that a lot with some of the drivers today. They're locking up the brakes and also getting down into the speed, because the speed difference between the GTPs and the GTOs is so sharp on the braking. That looked like it wasn't an enjoyable experience trying to get around the slower GTOs, because sometimes you had to take the outside, the in, and sometimes the inside. How was that multi-class element for you today?
Yeah, it was super difficult. There's a couple sections here at Homestead in this layout where the Audi is faster through 3 or 4 corners in a row, and then the next corner it will be maybe 2 seconds slower or something ridiculous. So yeah, it's really difficult to balance it and know when to send it. I was trying to be more cautious because obviously, you know, it's the last race of the season. There's no point getting overzealous on a move and ruining someone's day when, you know, you can just settle for a lower position. But yeah, it was a really good dynamic.
I was going to ask you about that because we did think, is Jack going to make a move here? Please don't take Javier out. Don't, you know, I know you wouldn't do it, but I knew, you know, that there is that hesitation for everybody. But one thing that did catch a lot of people out, that coming back onto the oval, how was that? I think if you had a motion rig, that wouldn't be very comfortable coming back onto the start-finish straight.
No. So I think today me and Javier figured out that the faster you rejoin the oval and the more bumpy it is, the actual quicker it is, which is a bit counterintuitive to what we were practicing in the whole week leading up to the race. So yeah, we were just kind of jumping on and hoping that, you know, it didn't spin us on the exit or anything. It's a bit of an ugly corner, to be honest. I do prefer the other Homestead layout, but yeah, it was a good challenge.
Yeah, I'm biased as well. I do prefer that myself. We finished the season, though, 12 weeks this season. Next season, it's a leap season, 13 weeks. What are your plans? I know Adam asks usually, are we going to see you back in the GTPs next season?
Yeah, definitely the GTPs. I hope I can make more of the broadcast races and you know, make a bit of a bigger challenge for the you know, the actual standings this next upcoming season. Yeah, that's the main goal, is just make a bit more of a consistent push, because I think the last 3 races I've done on the broadcast I've been on the podium, so hopefully I can carry that momentum on.
A win, a third, and a second. You've got the trifecta for the end of the season. Before we let you go, it's only fair that we let you have some shout-outs as it's the last race of the season. So is there anybody you would like to say hello to?
Yeah, just well done to Javier and Arturus on the championships, and thanks to my team, Beast Racing, as well. Always supporting me through the season and everything. So yeah, thanks guys.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jack. That was Jack Wells, P2 today at Homestead, Adam. And I believe you've just got someone with you for one last one for the season.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be Yoni Hagner joining us. Yoni, it was great to see you race out here today. A 3rd place here at Homestead, but it's been a while since we've seen you in the GTO.
Yeah, it was last time in the Road America 500 that I raced this car, and today I was thinking that I want to race and put like 1 hour practice, and yeah, it was a bit horrible, but yeah.
Well, it may not have been up there battling for the lead, but you know, top 3 still a good position, and surviving to the end at a track this complicated with this many chicanes and this tight. It's that I would consider that to be a success.
Yeah, the track is quite funny on the multiclass traffic, because Nissans are like a few places like really fast compared to us, but it's not that bad.
Yeah, and speaking of the traffic, it seemed like there were a lot of drivers who were struggling less with the traffic and more just with corner exits and getting wheel spin, late on the brakes. What kind of strategies do you employ to keep yourself under control when it comes to being too overeager on exits or too deep into the braking zones?
I don't know, I just drive. Don't stress anything and just drive.
That absolutely makes sense. And you know, we saw you here for this race. We saw you at the Road America 500. Is there any chance at all that we might see you back next season for a full season run?
Not full season, but maybe 1 or 2 races.
Well, hopefully we do see you back here again for us to race. And Gioni, is there anyone we want to thank before I let you go?
Yeah, I've been watching your streams like a few months now, and it's really good content, so thanks to you.
Well, thank you, Yoni, and we look forward to seeing you next season when you drop by.
Yeah,
That was Yoni Hagner, who finished in 3rd position in the Audi GTO class. And that's going to finish us out here for this season. We want to give a huge thank you to the IMSA Vintage series for bringing us on for another season. And we want to give a big thanks to the team this season: Craig, Ozzy, Joey, Reese, Sebastian, Christian, Daniel, and Dougie. Make sure to check out our social media website and merchandise store, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well so you don't miss a moment, and many moments, quite frankly, like this here on GSRC. Next season's going to start off with the Nürburgring Combined Circuit. That's September 14th at 1 p.m. Eastern. Be sure to check out all the other broadcasts that are going to be listed here on your screen shortly. And we hope you've enjoyed joining us this season as much as we've enjoyed bringing this racing to you. And we hope to see you on the track back again soon. Until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.
Wow.